Hey folks, welcome to today's workshop, How Tarot Readers Can Make a Difference in the World and Make Money Doing It. Presented by me, Gary Karp, also known as That Tarot Guy. Now, the purpose of this workshop is to give confidence to the healers, empaths, and spiritual warriors out there who want to share their gifts with the world, who want to heal the world and make this change, but they don't have the confidence or the knowledge to start their online business and really reach as many people as they can. And we're going to show you just how simple this is to do. We're going to be doing this by sharing the 3 must-do secrets so you can build the foundation of your successful online tarot business. Now, before I continue, I do want to let you know this is the foundation. And I find that this is where many people, well, really, they make their mistakes because they use the old field of dreams axiom where if you build it, they will come. And 9 times out of 10, this isn't the case. You have to build that foundation so people are out there and they will find you. And this workshop is going to show you exactly how to do that. So who am I? What gives me the right to be able to teach this workshop and share this information with you? Well, first of all, I'm the Director of Professional Development for the Tarot Guild. I've been studying tarot since 1990. I've been a professional tarot reader since 2014. I am a certified tarot master, a certified life coach, a certified NLP practitioner, a certified hypnotist, an online marketing consultant since 2020. I actually have my own online marketing consulting business where I help spiritual-based entrepreneurs and those spiritual warriors share their gifts online and build their communities. And I am an Amazon best-selling author, all of which is to say what I'm showing you today and what I'm sharing with you today, I have practical experience and knowledge that it works. So what we're going to cover today. Well, first, we're going to help you define your ideal client. And hint, it's not everyone. And this is another mistake I find that so many people make when they go into this world. They get excited, they have these gifts, they want to heal the world, they want to help people, and they think that they can help everyone. And I cannot tell you how many clients and people I've met with over the years, just sitting over a cup of coffee, asking them questions and trying to help them. And I ask them, well, who's your audience? And they go, well, everyone. It can't be everyone. And we're going to talk a little bit about why that is later. We're also going to talk about how to deliver your products and services to people so that you can build that relationship and make it as easy as possible for them to get to you, to come to you for your products and services. And we'll touch a little bit on exactly what kind of products and services to offer, because it's not just tarot or it's not just Reiki. That is not going to be able to build that ecosystem or that empire that we're all going to need if we're going to do this work we've been called to do. It's going to be more than just doing 3-card readings. And finally, we're going to talk about how to build your tribe, how to get your message out there. All of us have something important to say and something important to share. And so many people just believe if they throw up a message on Facebook or they post on TikTok or Instagram that it's going to get out there. There is a formula on how to do this, and there's a way to use each specific platform to help drive your message and build your tribe, your community. And we'll talk a little bit about that. So let's start first on the basic, and this is really step 1, how to define your ideal client. Well, there are 3 steps to it. First, you have to know who they are. You may hear people throw out the term, well, what's your demographic? What's your target audience? All they're really talking about is who your ideal client is. And it starts with the demographics. Do you want to work with male, female, older, younger, divorced, single, empty nesters, businessmen, housewives? Who are they? Also, you need to know what makes them tick. And this is the point where people miss. You have to know why they're coming to you. What problems do they have? What are their dreams and their goals? And also, what do you want to focus on? Where do you want to be? And this is something I see that people don't really think about at the front end of designing their business. They just take all comers. And what happens in 6 months or 9 months is you end up getting clients that you really don't want to work with. And so having to work with these people becomes less a passion and more a drudgery. And you end up firing them, or you end up just walking away. And you want to make sure that you set your business up so it can sustain you, and that your passion for doing the work you're called to do is going to be forefront in your mind and everything you do. So what do you want to focus on? Do you want to deal with just a certain people? Do you want to deal with just a certain type of tarot business or a certain type of metaphysical business? So who are they? The demographics. Well, we're talking about gender, age, etc. So males, females, millennials, boomers, empty nesters, young people, old people. You really need to know who you're going to get to. And the demographics and the psychographics are important because this is how you are going to talk to the people. Because unless you know how to talk with them, how to speak their language and hit their pain points and their problems, your message is not going to land. Also, what's their education, their job, their income, etc. This is important, again, because you want to know who you're going with. If who you want to work with are high school dropouts, that's fine, but then you cannot be posting messages and posting memes and on social media, on LinkedIn. What is their job? What is their income? Now, these are the two parts that I find most people have a trouble with. There seems to be a taboo in the spiritual world, especially amongst spiritual entrepreneurs, that say, this is my gift, I can't charge for this. Well, the truth of the matter is that money is important. And the more money we have, the more good we can do with our gifts. The more money we have, the more money we can use to invest in our businesses. We can invest in charities. Maybe we can start our own charity on something that's important to us. Also, money is important because, well, we all need to pay rent. We all need to pay bills. We all have the car breaking down at some times. And if we're worried about all those things, we're not going to be fully present to do the work we're called to do. So you want to make sure that you know the job and the income, because if the person has the need for you, but they cannot pay you, that's not good. And if they have the money, but they don't need what you're selling, they don't need your services, then they're not going to come to you. You want to make sure you find that sweet spot that says, I'm going to charge $50 a reading or $100 a reading or whatever it is, and I'm going to go after the people who could afford to pay me my worth. This is why these two things are vitally important. Also, where do they live? Where do they play? What do they like? This all goes to structuring your message and to knowing where to set your message to get them in front. Right now, we're talking virtually. So if you know that the people that you want to have as clients, the people that you want to help, they live on Facebook, well, then you're going to be doing most of your posting on Facebook. If you know that they're on TikTok, then you're going to be doing most of your posting on TikTok. You have to know where they live and where they play and what do they like. Because you can you can structure your message to incorporate the things they like, and you're immediately going to be speaking their language. And that trust factor is going to increase automatically because people like people who are like them. So the more you can talk to them in their language, the more they are going to trust you, and you will be able to help them with whatever their challenges are. You're also going to need to know what makes them tick, and this is the psychographics. So what are their dreams and goals, and why is it important to them? What pain are they trying to get rid of? And what do they believe? Now, I want to share a little story of a client I had who was a health coach to explain exactly why this is important. He came to me because he wanted to grow his business. And he had a course that he was selling that shows you how to lose weight. I think it was like 50 or 100 pounds or something like that in like 30 days. And I said to him, well, who's your audience? And he went, well, everybody needs to lose weight. And I said, okay, let's think about this for a moment. You've got two people. Let's call them Bob and Jill. Bob and Jill both want to lose weight. Bob wants to lose weight because he just went to his doctor, and his doctor said to him, hey, Bob, you are 150 pounds overweight. If you do not lose this 150 pounds, you are going to have a heart attack or a stroke. Jill wants to lose weight because it's the summer months and she wants to look good in that bikini before she hits the beach. They both want to lose weight, but the reasons they want to lose weight, their pains are very different. So my health coach client needed to speak to each of them differently. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. Just nod or raise your hand or say yes if this is making sense. Cool. Okay. Now, if you want to, you could drill down a little bit further on that because Bob needed to lose weight because he wouldn't have a heart attack. But if you wanted to go a little deeper, the reason he didn't want to have a heart attack was because he didn't want to leave his wife with all those bills. Or Bob didn't want to have a heart attack because his daughter was getting married and he wanted to have the first dance at her wedding for her. So again, you see the reasons that people want to have the goal is different. And this is why you need to get clear on this so you can structure your message to them and they will say, hey, Maureen is the tarot reader I want to go to. Sharona is the person for me. Because you're going to be speaking their language. Now, also, it's important to know, what do they believe, right? Do they believe in metaphysics? Are they Wicca? Are they pagan? Are they Christian? If you are marketing to a devout Christian who is not a tarot reader, well, you might as well be running east looking for a sunset. Your message is going to be wasted in that group. So even if there's interest, you have to make sure that what they believe aligns with you and your services, because otherwise your message is not going to land. So also you want to know, what do you want to focus on? Now, this is who do you want to work with? And we touched on a little bit on that earlier. What kind of business do you want to have? And what kind of specific type of reader do you want to be? Now, let's go back here. So what do you want to, who do you want to work with? And this goes back to, do you want to work with the underprivileged? Do you want to work with the Hollywood elite? Do you want to be the tarot reader to the stars? There's nothing wrong with that. Just get clear on it. Do you want to work with CEOs and Fortune 500 corporate executives? I have a friend who is a tarot reader and astrologer, And all she does is work with stockbrokers and reads their charts so that they know the best time to make the trades. What kind of business do you want to have? Do you want to have a strictly online business? Do you want to have a brick and mortar where you have an office where you pay, where clients will come in and you sit down and you work with them one-on-one? Do you want to make a living out of reading tarot at psychic fairs and Ren fairs and street festivals? You need to know what kind of business you want to have, and then also what kind of specific reader do you want to be? And I'm not talking about just, well, I'm going to be an intuitive reader, or I'm going to be a reader that just uses the definitions of the card. That's a whole different discussion that's out of the scope of this workshop. But also, do you want to be a reader that just does business, that focuses on finances, that focuses on relationships, that focuses on twin flames? Do you want to be a reader that focuses on past life regression? Where do you want to make your business? And it may sound opposite, but the tighter you can niche down, the tighter and clearer you can get, the more success you will have. And I know a lot of people think, well, I don't want to niche down. I don't want to limit myself because then I'm cutting all these people off. Well, that may be true, but all these other people are not where you want to be. So number one, you're not fulfilling yourself. And number two, while that niche group is small, these people are going to become your true fans. And we'll talk about what a true fan is later in this workshop. And your true fans is where you're going to make your money. It's where the bulk of your income is going to come from. You know, the old 80-20 rule, 80% of your income is going to come from 20% of your clients, right? That 20% is going to be in that specific type of reader you want to be, and the specific business you want to have, and the people you want to work with. Now, please understand, I'm not talking that you cannot ever work with everybody, but at the beginning, while you're establishing your business, you need to know specifically these items so you can structure your business to talk with them directly. So once you know that, and you're clear on the kind of business you want to have, and you're clear on who you want to work with, and you're clear on how much you want to charge, then you got to talk about how to deliver your products and services and what kind of products and services that you're going to offer. And there are many ways of doing it. You can use one of the online reading services that are out there. You can create your own website. And I know as a member of the Tarot Guild, you actually get your own web page that can be turned into your own website where you can promote yourself, market yourself, talk a little bit about who you are, and also sell your services on that site. So the Tarot Guild makes it very easy for you to do that. Do you want to do it through Patreon? And Patreon is a wonderful platform. We'll talk a little bit about it later. That really is a throwback to the old model in the Renaissance times when the royalty and the merchants would pay artists to just create art and commission their art for them. It's a wonderful, wonderful business model that we'll talk about. And then, of course, you have email. And a lot of people think email is dead. Email is not dead. It is still the best way to build your community, deliver your product to your audience. So online reading services. You find out which service you want to set up shop with. And there are plenty of them out there. You have Aranum, you have Keen, you have Psychic, California Psychics, you have Psychic Encounters. And the link you may want to just jot down, because that is a link to an article that shows the top 25 online reading sites in 2022. So it's really a good place to start doing the research on these sites. And you do need to do the research. You need to know when you join these sites what their terms are. These are things people don't think about when they join these sites, right? Who sets the prices for them? Can you set your own price? Or does the service say you're going to charge this? right? How do they pay you? Do they pay you a percentage of what you make? Do they pay you the whole thing and just take a processing fee if they handle the payments? Do you handle the payments and then you have to pay a monthly fee to them? Is it per minute? Is it per call? Is it per hour? These are things that you have to know. What are the minimum technical requirements for this company? Some of these companies require you to have a desktop. They will not allow you to have a tablet or to run the business from your phone. A lot of them require that you have a hardwired internet connection, so they won't allow you to have Wi-Fi. And almost all of them have minimum speed requirements. So before you join these services, you want to make sure that you can meet their minimum tech requirements with your equipment, or set aside a budget so you can increase the equipment you have to meet their tech requirements. Now, also, is there an aesthetic requirement? And I put this on here because of a situation I had when I first started doing online tarot reading. This was about 10, maybe 15 years ago. I joined Aranum, and I was doing readings on Aranum. And at that time, Aranum had no aesthetic requirements. And then about a month into my work with Aranum, they put an aesthetic requirement on it. Now, where I was reading tarot from was a little corner in my living room. It wasn't messy, but it was very Spartan. It was basically me, my desk, and the wall behind me, very similar to what you see here. And they determined that they wanted a more warm and nurturing aesthetic. And try as I may, by adding plants and wall hangings and a whole bunch of stuff to my desk, I couldn't meet their online aesthetic requirements. And so they dropped me from their service. So this is important to know. How do you have to structure your office? Are they going to accept a bare wall, or do they want a more warm and fuzzy feeling? Are they going to want to have crystals and tarot cards and tapestries up on the wall and nice bright colors or earth colors as opposed to a white wall? You could also deliver your product and services through your own website. Now, we spoke about the Tarot Guild. As a premium member of the Tarot Guild, you do get your own website page on there that you could use as a website, or you can build your own. So you have to determine, do you want to DIY it, do it yourself, or do you want to hire a professional? And if you do decide to go the professional route, you can look at services such as Fiverr and Upwork and Craigslist to find someone who is in your budget. The only thing I will say is that if you do decide to hire a professional and you go through Fiverr and Upwork, interview them, okay? Sit down with them, and before you make any decisions, make sure that you are absolutely certain on the work they will do for you, the prices that are included in that, and if any corrections on your website, any reviews and revivals, I don't think that's the right word, but it's okay, will be included in the price. Do they give you one set of changes? Do they give you two sets of changes? Are you going to get charged out of the box for every change? Also, do they write the copy? Right? Or do you have to deliver everything to them and they're just going to put it together? You want to make sure all of this is upfront and you know it before making a decision, so you are safe from being scoped creeped from the people on Fiverr and Upwork. Now, you could also DIY it through services like Wix and Squarespace and a whole bunch of other do-it-yourself website builders. If you do DIY it, are you going to code it yourself? Or are you going to use the drop and drag services such as Wix and Squarespace? If you code it yourself, you'll probably be doing it on a WordPress platform. And you also have to know the expenses that are going to be part of that. If you do it with WordPress, you're going to have to find a WordPress host for you. Where Wix, they're going to be your host, and same thing with Squarespace. WordPress will host it for you. So there's an additional expense beyond that. Hosting fee, usually it'll be about $20 or $30 a month. Same thing with Wix and Squarespace as well. Now, what kind of website are you going to want to build? Are you going to want to build a traditional website, or are you going to want to build what's known as a funnel? And these are two different websites that are used for two different purposes. In my opinion, a traditional website is wonderful to get information out there, to tell people about your products, to tell people about your services, to also, if you're selling products, to use as an online catalog, but is not the best for selling, so to speak. If you're going to have a website that's just going to be for selling, then you may look into a funnel. And while describing the intricacies of a funnel is a little out of the scope of this workshop, a funnel is different from a traditional website because you're essentially walking people down the garden path to where they want to go. This means you're controlling their journey on the website, on your website. A traditional website, you've got 14 million buttons. There's no guarantee that they're going to hit the button that says sign up for my mailing list or buy a reading from me. With a funnel, there's only one thing they can do if they want to stay on that website, and that's order a reading from you or whatever your service is. So you want to be clear on the kind of website that you want to have. Also, you may want to create an e-store. Shopify and Etsy are wonderful, and this is a great option if you are already or if you are thinking about, in addition to selling tarot readings, you have product and service. You have products, be it a tarot deck, be it tarot artwork, be it a tarot book that you also want to sell. E-stores are wonderful for this. And there are also ways that you can get this product and services from other people and have other people fulfill it. So if you're worrying about, oh my God, where am I going to put 17,000 boxes of tarot cards in my living room? There are ways that if you decide to go this route, that you can actually have other people fulfill this for you. So you don't have to touch any of the merchandise if you don't want to. Another option is a membership site. And this would be like a teaching site. So if you were doing courses, or if you wanted to put together a group where you share your knowledge and your experiences, these are wonderful. And they're also great because outside of a one-time purchase, a membership site will give you recurring income every month because you set it up where they have to subscribe to the service for $19, $29, whatever it is. So every month, you know you're getting income. This is going to help keep you calm, stress-free, which will also allow you to do the bigger work, the greater work that we're called to do, because you don't have to worry about grabbing a client for $300 or $400 or $500. If you know you've got 10 people in a membership site giving you $30 a month, you know you've got $300 coming in every single month. And also for all of these things, it's also a good best practice to get a custom domain. Now, all of these things, WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, Shopify, Etsy, they're all going to give you your own domain when you sign up. But I'm going to tell you right now, they are the ugliest, most ungangliest, hard to remember things in the world. So you're going to want to purchase your own domain, www.mytarotbusiness.com or whatever you're going to call it, from GoDaddy, from Bluehost, from Namecheap. I use GoDaddy simply because they've been around the longest and I'm used to them. Now, the prices for a domain can cost you anywhere from 99 cents to buy the domain to about 18 bucks, and that would be for the year. I know with GoDaddy, they often run specials that you can get 2 years for like $21. The other thing with the custom domain that you have to keep in mind is the cheaper they're going to be on what it's going to cost you to buy the domain, the worse their customer service is going to be. This is just my experience. That's another reason why I also use GoDaddy at $20 for the domain, because their back end where you do everything is easy and their customer service is some of the best I found in the industry. Now, let's talk about Patreon a little bit, because a lot of people may not be familiar with this. A little background on Patreon. It was started in 2013, and it's used mostly by content creators. So you're going to find a lot of musicians on there. You're going to find a lot of artists, a lot of authors, a lot of podcasters. And Patreon allows people to donate a monthly amount to you in exchange for perks and benefits. Now, these perks and benefits can be anything. They could be a t-shirt, they could be a coffee mug, they could be a copy of a tarot book or a copy of your tarot deck, that could be a course that you're giving. And they have structured tiers. So if you donate $10 a month, you get this. If you donate $20 a month, you get that. So it's tiered off. What I am doing right now with my own current business, because I'm redoing everything, is setting up the Patreon to tie in with my membership sites. So if you if you donate to me on Patreon at a certain level, you are getting automatic access as one of the perks to my membership site, which will be teaching tarot reading and teaching the business of starting an online business of tarot, and also other perks that go alongside of that, and really building up that value. The key with Patreon is to make sure the value you're giving them in perks is seemingly more, the perceived value exceeds what they're donating to you every single month. Now, another great thing about Patreon is you could deliver it right on the Patreon platform, right to your people, or you could take them off site, such as giving them a membership site or giving them a checklist or something like that. Now, email. And I know a lot of people don't like email. I love it because email allows you to deliver tarot readings. You can do it right through the mail. A lot of people set up, a lot of people set up their tarot readings, tarot business, and all they do is they read by mail. So they get the request by mail. They spend time writing up their reading, and then they email it back to the reader. And that's perfectly valid. That's a perfectly valid business. A lot of people start that way, especially if they are not comfortable being on camera or being in person. This is a wonderful option for those who may not want to be on camera or are a little shy to read in person, or even if you're just starting, so you're not exactly confident and you want to check that book before you finish up the reading, and you may not want to show that you're looking at the book while the person isn't sitting in front of you. Email readings allow you the ability to really research the readings and give the best reading to your clients and make sure they're correct by double checking things you may not be sure of. It's also a wonderful way of delivering course materials. I've known people that instead of setting up websites and membership sites and recording videos and doing everything, create a course, and then every day or every week, they deliver an email to the people who signed up for the course with that lesson. And it takes all the other stuff, all the technical stuff out, because all they have to do is deliver an email, and the lesson is right there to the email box. So it really simplifies delivering course material as well. And of course, the best part is it helps you, it allows you to promote your products, services, and specials to people, right? Because once they sign up for your email, they're on your email, and the way you build a relationship with them is to keep emailing them and build value. Right? And we go back to the 80-20 rule. Every 8 emails that you should deliver to somebody should be valuable. 20% of it, 2 emails out of every 10 can be selling something, whether it's a course, whether it's a website or your podcast, whatever it's promoting. This allows you to do that. and build that rapport with and relationship with these people. Now, building your tribe, getting your message out. We've talked about structuring your business and who you want for your ideal customer. We've talked a little bit about the products and services and how to deliver it. Here's the crux. How do you build your tribe? How do you get people to follow you? Well, there are a number of ways you can do this. Social media, obviously, is one pillar that you can use. Blogs are another. Podcasts are a third. Ebooks are a fourth. And again, email, as we spoke about earlier. So let's talk about social media. The great thing about social media is it allows you to interact directly with people, right? And here is another mistake I see people forget. They get on Facebook, they get on Instagram, they get on TikTok, and they immediately start to sell. They forget that the key word in social media is social. They don't do anything to try and get to know the other people. They don't do anything to try to build value. The great thing about social media is it allows you to interact directly, to have conversations with people and get to know them. Also, which channel are you going to use? Do you want to use Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn? There are 14 million social media platforms. And I know that there are a lot of people out there who are going to tell you, a lot of gurus out there who are going to tell you, you need to be on everyone. No, you don't. At least not at the beginning. My suggestion is when you're first starting this, to pick the platform that you are most comfortable with and start there. And then once you master that, then move on to the other platforms. So if you are mostly on Facebook, then start a Facebook page or start a Facebook group. And once that starts going, then dip your toe into Instagram or Twitter or TikTok. But don't do everything all at once. You're going to burn yourself out. The other key is knowing what these platforms are to be used for. Because each social media platform has a specific purpose when it comes to social media marketing. Facebook is to build the relationship with the audience. It's to warm the audience up, right? Think about it in terms of the Tonight Show monologues, you know, Jimmy Fallon, or I was about to say Dave Letterman. Stephen Colbert comes out and they address the crowd and they tell a few jokes to warm the audience up. And then they go back to the desk and the superstar, the movie star comes out, sits on the desk, and he promotes his film. And the audience, who has already laughed at the host's jokes for 5 or 10 minutes, has been warmed up, so they're receptive and will probably go out and see that movie. That's the same way Facebook is to be used. You don't really want to sell on your Facebook pages, on your Facebook groups. You want to warm the audience up to who you are, get them used to you, get them to know you and your expertise so they can become familiar to you, or they can become familiar to you. They can become familiar to you. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, right? Twitter is a platform that I believe should be used mostly as breaking news, right? Don't try to have a conversation on Twitter. Twitter is to be used for sharing breaking news. Now, what do I mean by breaking news? Anything that can be considered in a public relations report. If you are being interviewed by someone else, if you have been written up in a magazine, if you are going to be featured on a television show, and also any news articles that you find that are relevant to your business or your passion should be shared through Twitter, right? Twitter is not the point where you want to go and start the conversation. It's breaking news. It's short, it's quick, it's just drop a link of the article, drop a link for your podcast, and move on. Instagram, I always look at as a behind the scenes thing. You know, you're tearing back the curtain and you're allowing people to see the man behind the curtain rather than seeing the wizard, right? Everywhere else, you show the wizard. Facebook, you're showing the wizard. Twitter, you're showing the wizard. TikTok, you're showing the wizard. Instagram, you're showing the real you, slices of life. So if you're out on a hike, if you're on a vacation, if you're just going around the city one day and there's a really cool photo, this is what Instagram is used for, to give people a slice of life of the real you, not the wizard, the man behind the curtain, not the wizard, right? Be your own Toto. Use Instagram to get people to know what your life is really like. Now, how often do you post? And what to post? Well, we talked a little bit about what to post and how often do you post? The answer to that is a minimum of once a day on the platform of your choice. Now, can you post too much? I don't believe so. But start with once a day. And then depending on the platform, Facebook, one post, 2 posts a day is fine. If you're on Instagram, you may want to do 2 or 3 posts a day, especially if you're using Instagram stories, then you're going to be doing this throughout the day. I would say 4 to 5 Instagram stories a day, because remember, the Instagram stories only last a couple of hours and then they go away. So they're meant to be consumed in real time. So if you're going to use Instagram stories, you are going to want to really keep that content mill going and post at least 3 or 4 times a day on stories to make sure there's always something in that feed. Same thing with TikTok. You're going to want to post to TikTok at least 4 times a day if you're going to use TikTok. Let's talk a little bit about blogs. Blogs are simply articles that allow you to show your expertise. They could be informative blogs. They could be listicles, how-tos, or opinion-based. And informatives is just giving information, right? And this is a wonderful style, especially if you're going to go out and get the information, then you're then going to share with your audience. And this is what I find many people when they're starting their businesses, they do. They're not really creating their own stuff. They're taking the things that they have discovered from other people and they're sharing them and bringing that information and knowledge to their audience. Listicles, if you've ever seen a BuzzFeed article, you know what a listicle is, right? The 10 worst tarot cards to pull in a reading. The 7 steps to make sure your tarot reading is successful. The 3 ways you can cook a lasagna and not burn it, or whatever it is, right? These are listicles. They're very, very popular because they are bite-sized information that are easily digestible. How-tos, these are strict teaching blogs. How to give a 3-card reading. And you can write a blog on how to give a 3-card reading. First, shuffle your deck. Step 1, lay out the first card in the past position. Second, lay out the second card in the second position. Third, lay out the third card in the future position. And just go step by step and show them how to do it. Opinion-based. That's exactly what it sounds like. This is giving your opinion on a certain subject. Now, these are great because the one thing you don't want to be when you're starting a business is vanilla. Right? A lot of people believe that when you start a business that you've got to be middle of the road, that you can't have an opinion, that you can't offend anybody. That's not the case. You want to show people your opinions. Whether they agree with you or don't agree with you, that's going to be up to them. But don't be afraid of sharing your opinions and being a little polar, because that's where people are going to gravitate to you. That's where you're going to find your tribe. So don't try to be vanilla. If you have a strong opinion on something, and in the tarot world, the biggest one is an intuitive reader to a book learner, right? That is the main argument and debate you always hear. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you that I am firmly in the camp of you got to learn the definitions of the cards. And I make no bones about that. And there are some people who will not come to me for readings. There are some people who believe I'm nuts and that I am disavowing them because they read intuitively. My opinion of an intuitive reader is that they're lazy and they don't want to do the work. That's my opinion. And I have shared that in podcasts, and I'm sharing it with you, and I've shared it with blog articles. And the people who agree with me come to me. And the people who don't agree with me are going to go somewhere else. And that's fine. That's okay. Because as we spoke about earlier, you can't market to everybody. You can't deal and work with everybody. So it's okay to be a little bit opinion biased when you write your blogs and also your podcasts to get that information out there. You want to show a little bit of your personality and a little bit of your opinion. That's going to draw people to you. Now, a wonderful site to put your blogs on is medium.com. This is a great site. You don't have to start your own blog page. Medium.com is a free site that allows you to publish your own blogs on there for as long as you want. There's also a subscription model that if you do want to sign up for it, you pay a nominal charge. I think it's like 10 or 20 bucks a month. And they allow you to participate in their revenue sharing program at that point, which means you get money for everybody's blogs and how many times they are read. Now, podcasts are wonderful because they set yourself up as an expert. You've got 30 minutes or an hour that people are just sitting there listening to you. And it's really a great way to set yourself up as an expert and also to show a little bit of your personality. And this also is goes along with what I was saying before with being showing your opinions, right? Show your personality. People are going to get to know you. If you're quirky, let that quirkiness come through. If you're serious, let that seriousness show through. Be your authentic self. Let people know and love you. And a podcast is a wonderful way of allowing that to happen. Podcasts are also easily delivered and they're easily listened to. There are so many ways of getting podcasts now, from Apple Podcasts to SiriusXM to Spotify and Pandora, that all people need to do is hit the subscribe button and the podcasts are automatically delivered to their device. And people can listen to them at any time. They could listen to them while driving in their cars. They could listen to them while doing housework or while cooking or while cleaning or while doing work, have it on in the background. They don't have to take the time commitment they may have to do to read a blog post because they could just throw the podcast on and go on with their day. Now, a wonderful site for podcasts, if you're thinking about this, is a site called anchor.fm. I love this site. This is a great site because it will host your podcasts for you and it will upload them to the Apple Podcast environment for you for free. This does not cost you anything monthly. So you can host all your podcasts on here and have them submitted to Apple, and it's not going to cost you anything. Their service is wonderful. They work where you could they have an in-studio software, so you can record the podcast right there on the website, or you could record the podcast yourself and then upload it to their platform. It's a great, great platform. I've been using them for years. Now, ebooks, and this is something that people may not think about, but it's really a wonderful way of getting your message out there. And it's a wonderful way of establishing yourself as an expert, because something magical happens in people's minds when you publish a book, whether you are a traditional publisher or you are a self-publisher. The minute you have a book, your statue goes up in their eyes. The minute you say you're a published author, you gain a little bit of gravitas. And that will open up opportunities to leverage other people's tribes. If you want to get on a podcast of somebody else, and believe me, podcasters are starving for content. There's an entire Facebook group dedicated to just people who are offering themselves as interviews to podcasters. Podcasters always need content. And if you could walk up to a podcaster or write them an email that says, hey, I'm Gary Karp, I am a tarot reader, I am a ABCD, and I have written a book on how tarot could help you lose weight or whatever it is. I think your audience will really get value from it. They're going to have you on their podcast simply because you're a published author. Now, the really cool thing about these books is when people think about them, they think they have to struggle and stress for years to write a book, okay? And I'll be honest with you, self-published author, Amazon bestseller. I've got 5 books up on Amazon right now, and they all took about 6 months to a year to write. That was before I learned the secret on how to write and publish an ebook in 7 days. And literally, that's how long it takes. So you can publish this ebook and get it up on Amazon in 7 days. You don't even have to publish it on Amazon. You can use it to build your mailing list. You can use it to sell from your own website. And it doesn't have to take months and years to write. It just takes a week. Now, where are you going to publish them? There are many, many sites out there that you can self-publish on. My personal preference, it's the 800-pound gorilla, is Amazon KDP. You can publish an ebook in paperback and in hardcover from them. They make it very, very simple for you to upload your book and to get it up on the Amazon platform as quickly as possible. And their percentages, if I remember correctly, they take 30% and you get 70% of the cover price of the book. It's really a boon for self-published authors. Let's talk a little bit about email now. We talked about it before, but email is, if you think about it, it's the only resource you truly own, right? You may have a Facebook group out there, Facebook group of 5,000, 6,000, 10,000. Let's take the tarot group, the Tarot Guild group. It's on Facebook. But we don't own Facebook, right? Zuck can turn around and he could change the rules on what we could advertise. He could change the rules on what can be, have a group or have a page, or Facebook can go the way of MySpace, for those of us who remember Tom, GeoCities, and the Dodo. I mean, think about it. If you're relying on Facebook as your sole source of marketing and your sole way you're going to be getting your customers and your client base, and Facebook goes away, well, then what are you going to do? With email, once somebody signs up on your email list, you own that. Doesn't matter what Facebook does. Doesn't matter what the next big, great social media platform is. You own that email list. You can market to them as many times as you want, and it's not going to cost you anything except for the monthly email fee, which you're going to have to invest in anyway. Another thing that's great about a list that you truly own is you can rent it to other people. If you have a very engaged, large list, you can turn around to other spiritual warriors, other tarot readers, and say, let me promote your product and services for you to my list, and I'll take X% of every sale you get. Or you could just say, look, give me $500 and I'll send an email to my list, whichever way you want to do it. But it presents an additional source of revenue for you. Now, it's also easier to develop relationships and deliver value. When you have an email list that's active and engaged, people will actually look forward to receiving your emails. They will open them up every morning just to say what you have to say and what kind of motivation and inspiration you're going to give them. And that makes it easier to build the relationship and that KLT factor, that know, love, it, like, and trust factor with your audience. And also, and we touched about this before, there's no cost to promote your product, services, and specials. Once you get your email list to where you want it to be, you never have to buy a Facebook ad again. Think about that. A Facebook ad is going to cost you, cost per click, on the cheap side, about $15 per click. Right? Once you build your mailing list, you never have to buy another Facebook ad again, unless you want to. And finally, and I want to really stress this point, you don't need a mailing list of millions and millions of people. There are tons of gurus out there who are going to tell you it's a numbers game. The more people you have on your list, the better chances you have for making money. And that's true. But what they don't tell you is that it doesn't have to be a 6- and 7-figure mailing list. And my experience is those people who look at you and say, I have a mailing list of 250,000 people or more, and I can show you how to do it. Well, it's a vanity statistic to them. And the only reason why they're in the game and in the business is for an ego stroke. They're not really in it to help you. They're not really in it to help you help others. They're in it to feed their own ego. Here's the truth about the sizes of the mailing lists. You need, well, actually, before I do this, let's throw this out there to the people. How large of a mailing list do you think you need to make a comfortable living? Just throw numbers at me. Do you think you need 100,000? Do you think you need 30,000, 50,000?
Yeah, you can put it in the chat, folks.
You can also put it in the chat. That would be a good thing, yes. Okay. Let me let you know that whatever you're thinking is too high. Here's what I have found. You just need an email list of 15,000 people. That's it. You don't need a list of millions of people. And that's because you are going to utilize the power of the true fan. Now, when I say a true fan, what do I mean? A true fan is someone who's going to come back to you regularly for tarot readings. They're going to book a reading with you every single week. These are the people that are going to travel to see you at events. So if you're reading at a psychic fair, or you're reading at a rent fair, or you're reading at a street fair, and they're anywhere in the vicinity that their car can get them, they're going to show up. Think of them as deadheads in that regard, right? They're just going to travel to see you. And these are the people that are going to buy 3 copies of your book or your tarot deck. 1 to read or work with, 1 to give away, and 1 is for you to sign and for them to have it sit proudly on their bookshelf. Now, here's the really cool thing. You just need 1,000 of these true fans. 1,000, which on a 15,000 mailing list is, if my math is right, about 10%, maybe less. Just 1,000. Because if you can get 1,000 of these true fans to spend just $100 with you in a year, well, that's $100,000. And that brings me back to the original point and the title of this workshop, how you can make a difference in the world by doing the work you were called to do and make money doing it. Because when you think about it, $100 a year is not a lot of money. If you're selling a tarot read for $100, that means that your 1,000 true fans just have to buy one tarot read from you every year in a year. If you're selling tarot decks and you're selling them for $50, that's 2 decks per true fan. That's why I'm so honored, and I want to thank Dax for allowing me to do this for you guys today, because so many people, when they think about it, think it's pie in the sky, that they're never going to hit it. But it doesn't have to be that way. This is definitely doable. And you don't need to feel shame or guilt about it as either, because you're doing the work we're called to do. You're healing the world with your gifts through tarot, through Reiki, through empathic work and Akashic records, or whatever it is your gift is. And it's very simple to make a good living at it. And once you remove the stress of worrying about rent and utilities and that damn car that broke down last week, well, then you can really dig into the work and make the change in this world. So what we covered here today: first, how to define your ideal client. We talked about the demographics and the psychographics and what you want to do and why it's important, so you know how to structure your message and how to talk to these people to get your message across. We talked about the several ways you can deliver your products and services to these people and what they can be. We talked about how to build your tribe so you can get your message out there and start changing the world with your gifts. And we talked about, finally, the power of true fans. And I really hope that you got to see that you could have both, that you can do the work and heal the world, still make a good living, and not have to feel like a sleazy, slimy salesperson, or that you're overcharging for your services. It really can be done. So let's talk a little bit now about some additional information and resources. First of all, if you're going to set up a business, then you're going to want to set up a business. And my suggestion is to use LegalZoom. That's what I'm using to set up my businesses. To set up a C Corp is about $600, and they do everything for you, soup to nuts. Now, I'm not going to dive any deeper into that because I'm not a lawyer, right? And I would really suggest that you get on with LegalZoom or visit their website and find out exactly what would be the best business to set up for you, whether it's going to be a sole proprietorship, a C Corp, an LLC, or non-for-profit, or whatever you're going to do. They'll be able to help you figure it out. Canva. Strongly suggest Canva for designing graphics. I would recommend signing up for the professional level of Canva. It's about $12. It gives you so many additional options. My favorite part of which is what they call magic resize, which at a click of a button will resize a graphic for Facebook, to resize it for Instagram, to resize it to TikTok, to resize it for a poster, to resize it for anything you want, so you don't spend time rearranging everything on the page. Well worth the $12, in my opinion. And also Zoom for giving your readings, for recording your podcast interviews and trainings. This is how the Tarot Guild delivers these workshops. I would strongly recommend, if you're not familiar with Zoom, and if we're all on here today, we're all familiar with Zoom, that you sign up for a Zoom account and a Zoom professional account. I think the professional account is $12 or $20 a month, something like that. Again, well worth the investment, because the one thing you do get with the professional account is, number one, there's no time limit on the meetings you can have if there's more than 2 people in the room. And secondly, they will store your recordings for you in their cloud, and they will also store not only the video, but also separately the audio, which is wonderful, because if you record your podcasts on here, you automatically have your podcast in addition to the video that you can put up on YouTube.
You also get a transcript of the chat also, Gary, and it's
that too.
I'm paying, I think it's just shy of $15 a month.
Yeah, I think it's like 12 or 15. I couldn't remember. Okay, so conclusions and final thoughts. Remember, everything about this to set yourself up for success is to be specific. You've got to get uber clear in your mind. Now, there are practical reasons for this, and there are metaphysical reasons for this. But the more specific you get about what you want, what kind of business you want, who you want to work with, how you want to structure your business, the easier it's going to be to achieve. So again, get specific with who you want to work with, get specific on the style of business you want, get specific on how you want to deliver your products and services, and get specific on which social media platform that you're using. So what are the next steps to take? We've spoken for just over an hour. Wow, okay, sorry about that. Just over an hour here on how you can set the foundations up to do the heavy lifting and the work that you're called for and really make a difference in this world while making money doing it. That's going to keep you alive with a roof over your head and food on your table. So the first thing you want to do is, when this workshop is over, I would suggest getting a pad and paper and spending a couple of hours designing your ideal customer profile. Who do you want to work with? Think about the demographics, think about the psychographics, think about who they are, what makes them tick, and then think about the business that you want to have. And spend a couple of hours, just you and a pad of paper and maybe a cup of tea or something stronger, if you prefer, and just write that out. Get clear on that. Next, if you haven't done so already, create your social media profile for your tarot business or your metaphysical business and put up a post. One post. Doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect, but momentum is everything. So just put up one post. Contact LegalZoom. You could either look at their website, or you can call their 800 number and talk to someone about setting up a corporation. They're very, very low pressure sales. They'll answer your questions and then they'll leave you alone. But at least pick up that phone or go to that website and see what needs to happen to get the ball rolling. And finally, if you want to take this conversation, this workshop further, if you want my help in any ways in helping you set up the foundations for your business, or to figure out exactly what your ideal customer profile is, or other challenges you may have in your business, please reach out to me for help. I offer 50% off my standard fees for every premium member of the Tarot Guild. And that is all the services that I do offer, from straight consultation to helping design and record, to helping design and publish those ebooks that we spoke about that take a week, to doing podcast interviews and being the host of a podcast interview for you to be interviewed and set you up as an expert. All of that is included in my services. Everything is 50% off for premium members. Just hit me up at gary@thattarotguy.com, or just drop me a message on Facebook and we'll sit and talk and we'll see how I could be able to assist you. Finally, are there any questions that you have on what we went over today, or really anything that's on your mind? I'll do my best to provide value for you folks.
Awesome, Gary. Just awesome. Let's stop the screen sharing here and we can bring everybody back up. Hey, everybody.
Hey, Pamela, I didn't see you come in.
Let me go ahead and unmute everybody here. Real quick before we do that, though, you know, you said something about, I'm going to put my plugs in now. you said something about build it and they will come. You know, that only works for Kevin Costner and Field of Dreams in the movies, you know. And you may want to do your own website, but if you haven't done your own website yet, a lot of people come to the guild and join the membership, the premium membership, and they don't take advantage of their My Page. It's called My Page in the navigation. If you click that, it's going to take you to your page. And I wanted to see if maybe I can share my screen real quick, because a lot of people don't know about all this. I'm going to see if it'll let me do Chrome here. You guys getting that?
Yep.
Barry?
Yep.
Okay, good. So I'm going to go to my page. And my page is dax.thetarotguild.com. Now, hopefully you're seeing the URL up here in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And so the standard is, you know, everybody that joins the website for free gets to use most of the features of the website, and you get your own My Page. And it's thetarotguild.com/members/your name. Now, we make it a little easier and more marketable for our premium members. It's first come, first serve. So if you want to get in with, you know, just your first name, you know, can only put so many Marys, but you know what I mean? So mine is, as I showed you earlier, dax.thetarotguild.com. And when folks go there, it takes them to my actual page with the long URL there. And I've put in a custom header. That's my Grand Lux, you know, that is my new favorite deck. I made that myself. And I've made these up for other folks. You know, if you need help with that, just let me know. And you can put in your profile picture, of course. And then you got this big text area. And up here in the corner, when you first get here, there won't be anything there. You'll see all of these sections that are on your page, your events, your articles, your friends, the groups that you're in, the about section. I wish that was actually more customizable, but we're at the mercy of Ning and how they're doing it, you know. And so on the about, it just has really basic stuff like my name and location. And I was able to put a couple things in there. And then your comment wall, you can type in comments, and it's like a feed. And then your activity feed is everything you do on the website shows up in your activity feed. And then right above these, you're just going to see a white blank square here with edit text. And when you click that, it's going to open this up, and now you got a full editor. It's in visual mode right now. I can pop in video. Maybe you want to greet everybody with a video. You can put other pictures. You can put in clickable links. And I put a big message me button. So when they click that, it takes them right to a pre-populated message on the website where they can send a message right to me. And I put on my readings. I've got my book now buttons, which leads to my payment processors. I have other links to the numerology reports I do and a bio about myself. If you know coding, you can click the HTML, and you can literally, like, from the ground up code in HTML, as well as use the visual editor. And it has all the typical controls, you know, just like WordPress, you know, not WordPress, like Word, Microsoft Word, or, you know, some kind of text editor, you know. And then you just click save changes, boom, and there it is on here. I want to show you Corby Metlight, Corby.thetarotguild.com. She went on Fiverr, you know, it had somebody make up this wonderful header. You can see her profile picture here. She has a different one in the header. She did a photo shoot and got the images and had this made up. Again, if you need help making those things up, you can hire me to do that, or you can go on Fiverr. There's a lot of ways. She actually has images, you know, right from like the back of her books that she just stuck in here in the edit section. And she has this is just a picture, so these aren't individually linked. You could actually just put them in with actual links, you know, but she just popped this up real quick, and then her books right here. We got Gary's, Gary dot the tarot.
Oh, mine's not fleshed out at all.
And yours is not fleshed out, but I wanted them to see your cool header you had made up. Very nice header. And yeah, we got to get you working on your
yeah, I know.
your about section there, you know. And you can even go simpler. Here's Mary's. You know, you can go really simple on here, just have text, you know. She's got links to her YouTube channel, Facebook, and you can contact her. I gave her the same big message button. I gave her the code for that with so it would pre-populate her name in there. People can send her a message, and you can just message her and book readings, and she has them listed down here, and she has her bio and everything up there. Sharona, what do you got on your page? So I think Sharona has the this is the default header, and she has all of her stuff from, it's actually directly from her page on psychetalk.net, because she's one of our radio hosts and has the buy buttons. But this is just to give you an idea of, you know, some of the stuff that you can do on your page. You can customize it. If you go over to groups and go to the premium members group, you're going to find a lot of great information to get you started with all this. In fact, there are pages up here. Here's all the workshops. Here's customize your profile. You click on that, and it's going to tell you about all the customization you can do. It's going to show you examples and everything. This is my old page, actually. So the resources are all there on the premium members site. And if you need the premium members group, and if you need any assistance, just let us know. We have a get help button over here.
Hey, Dax, Pamela just asked a question. What are the size of the banners on the members pages?
You know, I'd have to go in and look that up for you. I can get that information to you. And also, if you need something sized properly for that, and you have the image, you want to send it to me, I'll size it for you in Photoshop. But I do have the dimensions somewhere. I just don't have it on the top of my head right now, right off the top of my head. The other thing I wanted to mention, Gary, shameless plug, you know, I think it's great just to use the Tarot Guild site. I mean, you can't get hosting and buy a custom URL for $1 a month.
Yep.
You can't do it. You know?
And my opinion is, for the value you're getting, especially if you're starting out and you have to use what we call back in the old day guerrilla marketing methods, right? Which is basically marketing on a shoestring budget, right?
Right.
This is wonderful, because everything I spoke about with the website, you can do with the Tarot Guild site. You don't need to go out and buy your own website or hire someone off a Fiverr. You can do it right here. And everything I talked about in this workshop still works and is still valid. That's what's great. So the fact that you can trick these pages out and do what you can and use them as your website until you want to build out something a little bit more robust, or maybe use this one for your permanent page, is fantastic, especially for $12 a year. You can't beat that with a stick.
Exactly.
Also, Nicole, I'm sorry, I'm just getting around to your question. I'm just scrolling through the chat.
Yep.
You asked what I think, or what everyone thinks about text marketing. In the couple of times that I have used it with my clients, I have never seen a good return on it.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
I was wondering about that myself.
I've seen the texts go out to the entire lists that these people had, which was like 18,000, 20,000. But the call to actions were not reciprocal.
Okay, because
Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
I'm kind of, I've had other businesses before, and
Mhm.
my biggest, I don't want to say my biggest downfall, but what really did shoot me in the foot was that I became so overwhelmed with social media and the negativity from it. I don't want to do social media.
Okay,
Like,
let me make a suggestion to you.
go ahead.
Okay, because full disclosure, as I teach this, I do it for a living. I hate every piece of it out there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So there are a couple of options that you can take. One is you could hire someone to do it for you. Now, if that's not an option, all right, there is a service I used with my clients called Meet Edgar.
Okay.
Okay. It is a schedule. It is a service that allows you to schedule posting across social media. Now, it won't respond, but it posts it automatically. If I remember correctly, it's around $30 a month. And the one thing I loved about it that set it above Buffer and anything else that I've seen, it allows you to create buckets. So you can schedule things out by theme. You could schedule things out by platform. You can then schedule each bucket or each theme on a specific day at a specific time. So it gives you a lot of flexibility to work with your posts.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
And this really cool function that I thought was great, it actually will keep a library of everything you posted and has one bucket called random, that it will just pull random posts from the bucket, whatever is in there, every day. So you can do motivational Mondays and just on Mondays, pull from that bucket and only post to Facebook and Instagram. And then you could have Tarot Tuesdays and just pull a card and do that. And you can do, I don't know, Fantastic Fridays or whatever you're going to do, and schedule the bucket and that bucket to go to what platforms you want.
Yeah.
It's great. And if you want to schedule for 2 or more buckets on the same day, you can do that as well. It really has a lot of flexibility. It also allows you to change it on the fly or to post on the fly without destroying the schedule you have set up. So
Gary,
you may want to look into that. It's a great, out of all these services that do that, this is my favorite.
yeah, I used Buffer before. I didn't hear about that one. I got to try that out myself. Gary, I just got a couple more things I want to mention to folks, and then we're going to bring everybody up here for Q&A, for, further Q&A. I just wanted to mention a lot of people also, in addition to not taking advantage of your page that you get free with your premium membership, $1 a month. You mentioned articles. So here is the article section. You can post articles as a premium member. Groups. Here's the groups. We only have the groups from the Tarot Guild, our staff group. There's a paid group for our course members and a paid group, obviously, for the premium members. No one's ever taken advantage of this. You can make your own group. Maybe you love the Tarot de Marseille and you want to make a group about Marseille, or you want to make a group about your business, or you want to make a group about numerology, or it doesn't matter, as long as it obviously relates to tarot, of course. But you can, just like on Facebook, you can make groups here as a premium member as well. For videos, we have to upload it for you. We only do that because we don't want to overtake our hosting account, how much space we have. So we ask you to post it to your YouTube channel, give us the share link, and we will get it up here in the video section for you. By the way, when you write an article or do any of this, going back to your page, okay, all your articles, when you click articles on your page, it even says my articles. It'll only be the articles that you posted. So you can direct people here to your page, to your articles. Blog posts are only for the staff members. This is news posts from us, so you wouldn't have blog posts, but you can use my articles as your own blog if you want, and it'll just show yours right here, and you can direct people here. So there's a lot of great stuff you get with your membership. The other thing I wanted to mention, because you mentioned podcasting, and we also do live radio. We've been doing live radio for 12 years. We created the Psychic Talk Radio Network specifically for this, what Gary was talking about. It is the best way to be seen as the expert and rub elbows with other experts that you have on as guests. We have a YouTube channel, and through Psychic Talk Radio, you can interview folks on video, on Zoom, which we put onto YouTube. We can strip out the audio and put it onto blogtalkradio.com, which is our hosting platform. It's the largest internet radio and podcasting platform on the planet. Tens and tens of millions of viewers, hundreds of millions really now. And it automatically will send it out to what they used to call iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Podbean, and all the other dozens and dozens of outlets. It's all automatic. It's all done for you. And you can do live radio as well, and podcasting if you want to do pre-recorded podcasts, audio only or video. And the difference is, and the reason why I'm mentioning this is doing it through Psychic Talk Radio versus going out and doing it on your own. You have a huge learning curve if you haven't been doing this. We've been doing it for 12 years. So when you become a host on Psychic Talk Radio, we walk you through it all. Plus, we do all the behind the scenes tasks. There's video and audio editing. There's uploading of the recordings, obviously, on YouTube and so forth. There is setting up the broadcasts and setting up the Zoom sessions, and we already have the premium, professional Zoom, so you don't even have to purchase that. We just set it up for you. I also make all the banners for you and your guests. So everything is, pretty much done for you, and you get to take advantage of our experience having been doing this for over a decade, and you don't have to start from scratch and do that huge learning curve. So if you want to join us, there's actually, if you go to psychictalk.net, you can click join us up here in the navigation, and it tells you everything that we do for you and how to get started as a host on Psychic Talk Radio. So I'm going to stop the sharing there. And here we are. I don't know if we've unmuted everybody, but I'll ask everybody to unmute. And does anybody have any comments, questions?
Yeah, and I know that was a lot to take in. It's sort of like drinking from the fire hose.
Pretty much. We'll have to
So-
break these down into smaller ones and do like short 15-minute workshops on some of them.
Yeah, my frame of thought is, if you're going to deliver, over deliver.
Gary,
So-
do you have a way that we could that anybody could download what you just put up on your screen? Is that a PDF?
Yes, matter of fact, let me do that for you now, Pamela. I'll throw it into the link. It'll take me about 2
Okay.
minutes.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Awesome information,
There is
Gary.
a
Thank you.
handout in there that has the slides small with some note-taking places, but I'll throw a PDF of the actual slides in there. Give me about 2 minutes. Also, if you guys have any questions after the fact, which always happens, just hit me up through Facebook or Gary@tarotguide.com, and I will do my best to get back to you within a reasonable time frame, like let's say 24, 48 hours or something like that. If you got any questions. Give me one moment so I can get this taken care
And
of.
Gary's on the staff. If you go to our contact, I think it's thetarotguild.com/contact, or in the navigation, contact us. I think it's under members in the drop down, contact us. It has all of our pages listed, and any of us, Sharona, Mary, me, Gary, Corby, Pamela, we're all here to help. So any questions you have, if it's on a specific workshop, contact the person that did the workshop, obviously, but any general questions or anything we can help you with, that's what we're here for.
Okay, Mary, I am putting the, at least I hope, if I saved it in the right place. I'm going to be, how do we put there it is. There's the PD, is that the PDF? No, that's the PDF, okay.
There it is.
There it is. So that's just the slides. That's no notes. That's just the slides that you can print out and mark up and, throw darts at it or do whatever you need to.
Excellent. I've got a couple of people. Well, I'm holding a very small introduction to tarot, not just for people that are beginners, but there's a couple of people in town that are just starting to read.
Mhm.
And one of my clients got a hold of me and says, would you mind doing a quick workshop? And so I said, yeah, sure, why not? But I want to make sure that that's there so they can see. And if they need to then, or if they choose to, which I'm hoping they do, they can go to the Tarot Guild and join and see Gary's presentation and take it from there. Because I don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. Well,
No.
some people do, but it ain't me.
And that's what I really think is great about these workshops is we get to share our strengths,
Yes.
right? I've been doing the online marketing thing for about 10 years now. And specifically with spiritual entrepreneurs for about 5 after I muddled with people that I really didn't care for. That goes to the first part of knowing who you want to work with, right? But there are things I do not know that I learned from Dax, that I learned from Sharona, that I learned from you, that I learned from Mary. And that's one of the greatest things about the Guild is that it's really a wonderful community to learn from each other.
That's what we're here for, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Put it all in. See, make a stew. That's what my mom used to call it. You're making everybody brings something to the table and they add it to the stew and it makes it better unless you put in anchovies.
Yeah, I don't like anchovies either, so I agree with
I
your
don't
mom
either.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, questions, comments, concerns, open up the floor for everything. Don't need to raise your hand, just shout them out, folks. Okay.
You must have been that good.
Well,
It must have been that good. I did have a, hold on a second. Ashley?
Ellie, I think.
Hold on one second here. I'm getting something for you because you asked about, your name.
oh, you're welcome, Ashley.
And I don't know if I mess this up. Hold on a second. I'm just trying to get this to come up. Copy and paste this for you. Aha. Okay, it works. Let me get back to Zoom here. Yeah, so Ashley private message me, is ashley.thetarotguild.com available? And no, it's not, because you already have it. I just set it up. I'm going to put it in there. Oh, Nicole sent me I didn't mean to send that to you, Nicole. I meant to set it in the everyone thing.
And Dax, that reminds me. Is
There
it
you go.
possible to change the subdomain on that from Gary to that tarot guy?
I think, hold on one second. Let me check something, because I think that
Or do I have one set up as each? I just don't.
that tarot guy tarot guild. Yeah, that already takes you there.
Okay. That answers my question. Thank you.
Takes you to your page. Yeah. So you have gary.thetarotguild.com, but also that tarot guy.thetarotguild.com will also
Okay.
take you there. It's a little bit too
Wonderful.
long, but yeah. But Ashley's is all set up. Ashley.thetarotguild.com takes you to your page now, Ashley, and you can what does your page look like now? You have that nice graphic, the Babbling Brook readings. You already have that up in there, which is really nice. Yep. And you have I think a bio in here, and you can flesh that out and if you need help, putting buttons or, anything like that. The one caveat I got to tell everybody is that I can go in and help you directly, like with articles and stuff. I can go in and physically change things and everything. I can't touch your page. I have no access at all. So I can only either send folks code, or you got to give me sign-in credentials so I can sign into your account, go into your page, pop it in there and sign back out.
Yeah,
that's the only way I can do it. But
the code for that message me button would be very useful.
isn't that cool? Yeah,
That
I love
is.
that. I love
You
that.
can strip that out. You don't even need DAX for that. When you get to your
Okay.
page,
Okay,
just click the HTML button and do a search for follow me, and the code will be right there.
right.
Just
Thank
copy
you.
everything between the greater than and the less than brackets.
One caveat on that is that you have to have the special link that will take folks when they hit the button to the message, the inbox, compose a message on the website and pre-populate, Ashley up in there.
And
There's
it's
a
just a
code for
mail
that.
to. It's the mail
Right.
to HTML command, I'm assuming.
No, it's an actual URL. And it has to be done by somebody else, because you can't message yourself. Actually, you can message yourself with this, but under normal circumstances, you can't go in and message yourself. So
Yeah.
what you got to do is you have to have someone like me click to message you, and it'll pre-populate it. And then I grab that code and I give it to you. And that's what you want to
You have
make
to paste in,
the
yeah.
link to. So you put in that picture and then you link it to that code, that URL I'm giving you. It'll take, and it's beautiful because people just click that and they can send you a message. Of course, they have to be signed up on the website, which is free to do. They can sign up and they have to be signed in to send you a message. Back in the day, I used to put my Facebook, my Twitter, email, dozens of ways to contact. I don't do that anymore. I took it all off. They got to message me through the website, which gets them to join the website and become a member, So
all my social media is on my website already. But having a direct contact from the guild site would be useful.
right. I think that's great. Yeah. So I can help you out with that. You can contact me later on. And if anybody else has any questions, maybe somebody's watching this in archive, just shoot me a message from my page, be sure you're signed in and push that blue button, and can help you out with any of this. Most of this stuff I just do for free for folks. If you're going to want me to make custom images, banners, things like that, I do charge for that, but it's very nominal fees I charge. But I can do a whole website for you too, if you decide to go that direction.
And Nicole, you're very welcome. Just reach out to me if you need to talk, you want to bounce ideas, anything. We can discuss work, whatever.
Thank you. That would be great. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks everybody for being here. Any last questions before we go? Or
I have a comment.
oh, Ellie's got some questions, and go ahead, Ashley.
Well, my one comment is, if you are starting to launch a business, please make sure you're not doing it in a Mercury retrograde.
Oh, there's a good idea. I like that one.
I did.
Oh my goodness. Maybe that's been my problem all the while.
That
Last
explains
time
so
on my
much.
previous
Do I really want to ask how difficult getting your website was up, Ashley?
Well, 3 days after the website went live, it was hacked and taken down by the host.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So it was rebuilt 3 times the first month's site was up.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm a triple Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I should have known better. But I'm a triple Virgo. I can get through this.
Yay. What about you, Ellie? You had something?
Oh yeah, I just had a quick question. First of all, thank you, Gary, so much for doing this. This is incredibly informational. So I'm gonna go through the slides and just kind of go over everything again. But my question was regarding, I know when you first start out, you're kind of hesitant to take payment. Well, some of us are kind of hesitant to take payment, but what would be the best way to kind of start maybe like a tip jar or something to kind of encourage maybe a
That's
little bit of that confidence building?
okay. That's an excellent question. And before I answer with more practical advice, I want to give some just mindset stuff from a book I read and help me get through that. It's a book called The Science of Getting Rich by William Waddles, I think is the guy's name. It's somewhere on my bookshelf. I'll have to double check to make sure that name is. Excellent, excellent book. And he puts forth the idea that it is your God-given right and also your responsibility to get this out and to charge for it, because it's the only way you're going to have that energy. Money is just energy, right? It's the only way you're going to have that energy to recharge and to keep moving forward. So that's mindset part. Now, practical. If you are not comfortable asking, hey, my readings are going to be 20 bucks or 30 bucks or 50 bucks. And listen, I've been doing this, as I said, since 2009, 2010, reading professionally, something like that. And the biggest hurdle I had was charging money. And up until very recently, the next biggest hurdle I had was charging my worth. Right? Tip jars are a wonderful way of starting because people can contribute that way. So if you don't mind getting stiffed every once in a while, if that is not against your right, because people are people. The tip jar is a wonderful way of doing it. What I also may suggest is to get comfortable doing this kind of thing. You may want to set a low barrier plus the tip jar. Or if you are familiar with some of these live streaming platforms that are out there, I can't even remember the one that the gamers use all the time. They're Twitch and everything. Thank you. I've seen a whole bunch of tarot readers on Twitch doing like madness, like readings that they go from like 9 to midnight, and they just sit and they talk with their decks and they talk about the cards and like, okay, guys, $5 donations through Buy Me Coffee or Cafe or whatever platform you're using, and we'll read your cards. Go. Okay, it's getting late right now. I've only got an hour, but if I can get 5 donations of at least $5 a pop, I'll continue for another hour. What do you guys say? And this is a good way to keep it conversational, keep it fun, and a low pressure way of getting that money in there. And once you see it coming in, your confidence will start to build. Because I remember the first time I got paid, I'm like, well, wait a second. Somebody paid me for this? What? Right? And this is a true story.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to build up my confidence because I was charging 20, 25 bucks. And the business coach I had at the time said, you're crazy, charge 100. And I went, blah, 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 blah. She went, you're nuts, charge 100. And I went, okay. And the person came up to me and they go, what do you charge? And I, well, I'm $100 an hour. And they went, okay.
Now it's
And
like
that blew
200.
that changed everything for me right there.
Yeah.
It changed everything for me right there, because what you're going to find, and it was true for me, is if you're charging $10 an hour and you go up to 100, which is where I believe every tarot reader should be at the start, right? Because we're not sidewalk gypsies, we're really coaches. You're going to lose a lot of people. That's all the deadwood. You're going to find more people that are going to come to you, that are going to pay your services, and more importantly, they're going to respect and value you more. So
people get out of it what they pay for, right, Gary? You know,
yes,
in the hypnotherapy realm, you know, that's my other hat that I wear. You got folks that'll do a hypnosis session for $75, and then you got somebody that does a quit smoking session for, let's say, $500. Okay, which client do you think is going to be more successful at quitting smoking? the guy that paid 40 bucks or 75 bucks or the one that paid 500. It's obvious. He knows that if someone offers him a cigarette, that cigarette's costing me $500 if I pick up and start smoking again. It's the same thing with advice. You know,
Mhm.
essentially we're giving advice, information, doing life coaching with folks. I highly recommend, and have been doing it for 18 years now, telling our members to take a life coaching course. We have a really inexpensive one through Dr. Jones, you know, and become a certified life coach, you know, and that's what people are looking for. They're looking for life coaching as well as just pulling the cards, right?
Thank you, Ashley.
You know, and so you got to look at it that way, that if you're charging $40, they're not going to, what's the best way to put it, Gary? They're not going to take to heart, you know, what you're telling them.
No, they're not going to value it.
Yeah, and don't be stuck on the hour thing either, because I've actually got mine down now where I just do two different things. I do quick answers. And I don't put a time limit on it, but it's roughly 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you know, time enough to get a couple of questions in. It's $67. And then my full session is 40 minutes roughly. It may take a half hour, may take 35, 45, 40, but roughly 40, and I charge 97.
Mhm.
So there's that $100, but I'm not giving them a whole hour, you see, because most life coaching and card reading that we're going to be doing, we can pretty much get through it in 40 minutes, you know, 35 minutes, 45 minutes tops, and charge 97, you know.
I do a 3-card read for 65 bucks. Normally takes me maybe 20 minutes to do. I do a full Celtic cross or a variation on it for 100 bucks. And that takes 40, 45 minutes. And if it goes over an hour, it goes over an hour. It takes as long as it takes, but it's normally about 40 to 45 minutes to do that. And the honest thing is, if the value is fine, they don't care about the time.
Yeah, I've had you know, they want their answer, the questions answered. I mean, I've had clients where I've wanted to talk to them longer and help them longer, and I didn't charge them extra for that. You know, I don't go by time anymore. It's like it's 67 for a short amount of time, and it's 97. You know, and if we talk for an hour and a half, hey, that's on me. You know,
in the long run, it actually helps build you value because you're seen as someone who's not nickel and diming.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Not nickel and diming it. You know, one of my teachers, I think it was in hypnosis, you know, he had everybody take out a piece of paper and write down what they think they should be charging. And then he told everybody, okay, now add a 0. Add a 0 at the end. So most people were writing 125, 150 an hour is typical, you know, in the hypnosis field, you know, put a 0. So now we're at 1,500. And then he asked us also, it's like, okay, when you did that, when you looked at the 1,500, did right here, you feel, that tells you got a block. You have a block you need to work through around charging what you're actually.
Bye-bye all. I have to leave.
Okay. Well, we'll cut it, shut it down now. And I want to thank everybody for being here. And if you have any more questions, just contact us. We'll be around.
Yep. Thank you, Dax. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Bye, everyone.
I'll probably see you next month or whenever the next workshop Dax and I come together with and put it up, and we'll see what we can do.
Bye, everybody.